For the first time in the 8th Assembly, federal lawmakers at a joint session received a visiting president. I'm Linda Akibe and you're welcome to the Gavel. The president of South Africa, Jacob Zuma, was on a 2-day visit to Nigeria during the week. Now, one of the things he did when he came was to visit the National Assembly. Federal lawmakers in the Senate and the House of Representatives in the joint session received President Jacob Zuma and President Buhari. President Zuma is seeking greater bilateral relationship with Nigeria, and he took this message to the National Assembly. President Muhammadu Buhari and South African President Jacob Zuma making their way into the House of Representatives chamber. This is the first time the 8th National Assembly is receiving a visiting president. In his welcome address, Senate President Bukola Saraki called on African leaders to forge a new path of development for the continent.
We must find ways of enabling positively inter-African investments through policy intervention. This is a critical policy role the legislature can help us actualize. It starts with ensuring fairness and ease of doing business. The National Assembly is already at work to reduce the cost of doing business in Nigeria generally.
The South African president takes to the stand. He takes the House down memory lane, recalling how Nigeria assisted South Africans in fighting apartheid.
The people of Nigeria provided unwavering support and solidarity to the people of South Africa to unseat the last bastion of colonialism in Africa and enabled us to attain our freedom. I would like to remind especially the youth in our two countries of the role that Nigeria played in the struggle for liberation in South Africa.
President Zuma also called for a deepening of the relationships between Nigeria and South Africa.
Nigeria and South Africa must forge a strong strategic partnership. We need to strengthen our political, economic, and social and cultural cooperation. We need to advance the continental integration and transformation informed by the African Union's Constitutive Act. We need to unite and work together on this issue, on the issues of peace and security.
The Speaker of the House of Representatives says the visit of the South African president to Nigeria reinforces the brotherhood between the two countries.
This visit also reinforces the brotherhood, fraternity, and collaboration between our two countries. We all know the role Nigeria played as a frontline state in the anti-apartheid struggle of the people of South Africa, and therefore expect that level of commitment to be reflected in our bilateral relations.
Federal lawmakers shared their thoughts over the visit by President Jacob Zuma.
President Jacob Zuma of South Africa addressing a joint session of the National Assembly. His speech was well received by the parliament. The president of South Africa says there is a need for stronger diplomatic ties between Nigeria and South Africa in the bid to move the continent towards peace and prosperity. Lawmakers described the visit as historic.
So it was historic on many fronts, and it was a welcome development to foster relationships between the two countries. Relationships that have been up and down, but go back a long way. And this will help in propelling the relationship between Nigeria and South Africa.
They also comment on the speech, especially where he touched on the role Nigeria played in the fight against apartheid.
While it was very enlightening and, I just think he was preaching to the wrong audience. I would hope that this story is told more and more times to South Africans so that when they see Nigerians who are working very hard and living in South Africa, that we are accorded the reciprocity that Nigeria accorded the people of South Africa in their hour of need.
The lawmakers were, however, optimistic that both countries stand to benefit from the visit.
They have good agric. I think we can also benefit in that area. They have good telecoms. They have a few companies and areas that we can benefit. Yes, they can also benefit from us.
They agreed that Nigeria must build on this visit to create better bilateral relations with South Africa and also build bridges of partnership.
With what he has said, there is a lot of trade imbalance as far as Nigeria and South Africa is concerned. If you look at even only the MTN, the amount of money being made or they realizes in Nigeria in terms of millions or billions of dollars, and they repatriated in form of dividend back to the South Africa, is nothing to compare with what we, who are Nigerians, are returning back to our own dear country. So this sort of trade imbalances must be something that should be correct at that particular level, so that both governments should sit down, bring out their papers, and look at ways by which all these trade imbalances can be, anomalies can be corrected.
Out of the 120 company he said is in Nigeria, as far as I'm concerned, I only know one, and the only one I know is the MTN. All other, what are they producing? What are they doing? And even the MTN node is one of the few things we are trying to do in my own committee, ICT, that will make sure they patronize NICOMSAT to use their space so that part of the money they will be making in this country, the government will be taking part of it to develop our own country too. Not that winner takes all. We'll try and pass that law between now and end of the year, God willing, so that when we're able to get a second satellite backup to the one we have at the moment, all service providers have no excuse by not patronizing NICOMSAT. And with that, because of the dwindling prices of oil, that serve back as our own backup.